Technical difficulty.
There we go.
All right, so I will call the Tuesday, January 17th, 2023 Board of Selectmen meeting to order. It is now 7:00. Oh, goodness. I make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from December 20th, 2022.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on these minutes?
I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good as well. Okay. 20th, 2022, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. I make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen special meeting minutes from December 22nd, 2022.
Second,
Okay, motion. Approving the special Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from December 2nd, 2022, say aye.
aye.
Aye. All right, and then on January 3rd, we did cancel that Board of Selectmen meeting. Moving forward with correspondence, we have the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection report from December. Stating, oh, actually, it was November of 2022. There were 202 calls for service in the town of Thompson. Of these calls for service, the most notable are accidents 11, investigations 21, larcenies 166, DUIs. There were investigations for DUI, 2 of those, traffic citations 9, and written warnings 20. We also received a report from NDVH. Oh,
You got 2,
yep, and we had the December of 2022 report from Department of Emergency Services, Troop D. In December, there were 160 calls for service in the town of Thompson. Of these, there were 12 accidents, 14 investigations, 1 larceny, and 133 non-reportable matters. In addition, there were the following motor vehicle enforcements: DUIs 3, traffic citations 3, and 12 written warnings. And then additionally, we did receive a message from the Northeast District Department of Health discussing their year for 2022 and the activities that they conducted. And that's all I have. Is there any other correspondence the board wishes to share?
I didn't have anything.
Yeah, I don't think I did either.
I don't either. With that, we will move to agenda item 5, Selectmen comments. At this time, Selectmen comments.
One thing I just noticed tonight, if you could have somebody check the timer for the park, all the
Okay.
lights are out.
All the lights were out now.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all out.
All right.
There's nothing going on in the park.
So none of the
Nothing.
Sorry about that, everyone. For whatever reason, I jinxed myself by saying that there was no technical difficulties, and now I'm having technical difficulties. I'm assuming it's just a week Wi-Fi signal, but hopefully that's it. So sorry about that. So Ken, you were saying,
a couple possibly out going down, but they may be tied in with some of the trail stuff,
okay,
depending on how that
sure,
is. It would be nice if we could get a little bit more, if they ever come up to staffing. The speeding on Buckley Hill, I'm sure you get calls on that on a regular basis.
Mhm.
One of the things that I was just thinking.
it keeps cutting out.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
That's gonna make for a interesting recording.
Yeah. All right. So Buckley Hill Road, potentially moving those.
The one from Quadic and
Has-
the one on Fabian, I'm sure we could, I think people become complacent when they see it all the time and,
Mhm.
if we can. They're supposed to be fairly portable where we can just bolt them to a pole and move them, so.
Yeah.
Might be time just to rotate them a little bit.
Has it even been on Quadic? When was it put up on Quadic Town?
But it's on Aquatic Road.
Quadic Road.
Yeah, Quadic Road.
Yes, yes.
It was back during Rich's time, so I think
Yeah.
2021.
Oh, or has it been that long? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's closing in.
And it's coming up
it's
towards
closing in on
the
2
common.
years. Yeah,
Yeah,
And then the other one is headed towards Fabian Bridge.
right.
Yeah.
So, no, I agree. And that's been under discussion. It's just,
Yeah, but it'd be
yeah,
good time to do that.
Yeah.
have we always gotten a newsletter from NDDH? Is that a new?
Usually she presents that to us during the budget part of the,
Yeah,
Process.
I don't remember seeing.
this is
nice-
early.
This is nice, though. I don't remember seeing it during the budget process.
Mhm.
Now, maybe that's because we received so much information.
I don't know. Usually she brings that with her if I
I
remember
just don't
correctly.
remember seeing it before.
And she usually works off of it when she has a conversation.
yeah. Just to let everybody know, I did shut off the camera in the hopes that it doesn't pull from the internet connection. So, sorry about that.
Were you all second?
Yeah, I'm good.
I just was gonna comment that I read over the weekend that the community fire department has finished. Was that part of your updates or anything?
No,
Did you have any? That they have finished shoring up their flooring and moved their trucks back in?
Yeah.
which is great news.
And yeah, received the town, the approval, so that's good news, and it cost them what they were given for the ambulances, so
Right.
that worked out well for them.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I'm happy. Happy to see the trucks back in the facility.
The other, yeah, me too. That was concerning because. Forgive me, did we receive a copy of the dates for the budget workshops?
No, I sent you both dates, to which you responded, which ones you could and couldn't do
Mhm.
to Marie. And I was gonna talk about 2 of them that
Okay,
are proposed.
okay,
at
I
this
just didn't
point.
know if I had missed it and I
No.
haven't had a chance to ask about that.
No, I pulled from whatever you couldn't do to start working on scheduling everybody in. We typically have started in February, but I am hoping to start next week with the departments, the town departments. On the 24th and the 26th, but yeah,
Okay,
so,
Yeah, I just need to know a week in
Yeah.
advance
yes,
so I can alter my
Oh.
schedule.
okay. Well, this will be a week in advance.
all right.
Um,
Not that I'm like eager and all excited.
Yeah, because if
but-
we're doing it next week, I gotta let them know tomorrow.
okay, sorry about that. So any other comments? No. I'd like to, at this time, spotlight Ryder. He's an active border collie mix at our kennel. He needs a favorite human to become his owner. So please look up our town Facebook page or call the Selectmen's office. I'd be happy to give you the information if you're interested in adopting. He's just a puppy, but he is neutered, but pretty active, being a border collie mix. But super sweet for sure. January 20th, this Friday, I received notice that there is a dinner theater being sponsored by the TMHS Drama Club. There are 2 shows, one at 5 p.m. and one at 7 p.m. in the TMHS cafeteria, a pasta dinner will be served. It's $15 per person, and the proceeds are going to help fund this year's production, which is Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins this year. So that's going to help with some of the cost associated with putting on that theater production with the drama club.
Can I just say, I just left their meeting, and that is a self-supporting production.
Mhm.
So they get no town help, they get no school help, that supports itself. So the dinner theater, they are hoping to offset, and the ticket sales as well help. So just a plug out there. And what was the date of that again?
This Friday
That's this Friday
at
and
5 p.m. and 7 p.m. and tickets will be available at the door.
at the door, or should they be reserved?
Well,
in
you can
advance?
reserve them at any school office
Okay,
ahead of time in advance
all right.
to purchase. So.
Thank you.
Let's see, Board of Selectmen. Hoping to do our first budget workshop next Tuesday, the 24th, between 3 and 7. If there is a conflict, let me know, I can reschedule. And then the 26th, the next Thursday, from 3 to 7. I've been able to book in most of the departments. If for some reason those dates don't work for both of you, just
I'm
let me
good with
know
those
tomorrow.
dates.
Those are
Okay,
good?
fine.
Okay.
Can you just give them to me again?
So January 24th and 26th. Fire departments at this point are being booked in on the 22nd of February. So that'll be a 3 to probably 9 o'clock meeting. If you want to mark that on your calendar. And then I'll start working on some of the organizations this week. So I'll have that for you, probably by the end of this week, some other dates and that should do it. I should have everybody booked in by the end of this week.
24th, what time?
3 to 7.
3 to 7, the 26th.
3 to 7.
I can do 3 to 5.
Okay. So you can't do 3 to 7
I
that
have
day.
another commitment at 5,
Okay. So I'll just
which I
rework that. I
didn't realize we were gonna start that early, this early. I thought we were waiting until February, so
Okay.
I just have one more thing.
Mhm.
When does the ambulance representatives meet?
Oh, tomorrow,
Okay,
the 18th at
The 18th.
5:30.
all right. There is a concern that's out there.
Mhm.
And when you have your meeting, you can talk about it. As we know that AMR did pull out of the hospital,
Right.
which has left Day Kimball with no coverage.
Mhm.
And that is up to the hospital to get coverage
Right.
and contract out with another service or whatever. When they're doing a transfer, you're talking a lot of it's ALS,
Mhm.
you're talking, they may get called in, the ambulances, because I heard that, Putnam is filling in.
no, they're not.
That's what I heard. So
KB ambulance is currently, they're waiting for the approval.
Okay.
What happened the other day was KB ambulance had 2 crews that were available and did not send them for the transport, which means Day Kimball Hospital called 911. In calling 911, it went directly to Putnam EMS.
Mhm.
And then it was an ALS transport, which is not a great
That's
thing
good.
because then they pulled our NECOG paramedic to go on the transport. So it was bad all around and it's going to be addressed during that meeting for
Good.
sure. And we will have full representation. I won't be able to be there because of the town meeting, but Logan Taylor and Jamie Sine will both be representing. And I'm not sure if Rob Wurge will be able to because he has a lot of work commitments,
Okay.
but we will be fully represented to discuss that.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a huge concern.
it is.
And it was nice because I did get the heads up from Logan while I was on vacation
Okay.
that it was going on. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, no, it's just that it's a concern. Hopefully, the hospital can do what it needs to do and we can continue to.
Agreed.
Because those turnaround times with doing that can be hours and.
Right. And it was sort of sprung on all of us a month ago and they had to act by January 1st. So it really put them under the gun and not even enough time.
Well, the hospital knew that
Oh, they did.
AMR was pulling out well in advance,
That's what
several months, so they
That's what I've been told.
procrastinated.
Yep. So,
So,
Yeah, but
It's a
I,
shame.
from what I understand, what you're talking about was a one-time kind of situation.
well, we want to make sure that it stays a one-time.
Yeah,
That's-
because-
I'm sorry, it took me a minute to get those.
well,
on
no,
my
because if
calendar.
you're going to Boston, you're going to New London, Hartford, wherever, I mean, by the time the hospital does it, they finally release the patient to make the transfer. You go and do it. I mean, you're talking several hours that ambulance is out of
Right, so Jay
commission.
Kimball knew about it, but KB, I don't think had a lot of time to prepare in that sense. And
Happy
so
that they
they
stepped
are,
up.
they have
But-
stepped up and they're trying to fill it. But it means they have to hire new people, they have to have paramedics to go on the
Well, there's a lot of
transfers.
moving parts.
And there's a lot of moving parts, so they are in transition as well.
But I mean, we're trying to keep us covered.
Right.
And if you pull one ambulance out like that, I mean, in
And it would
emergencies,
be a different story if we had our second crew, our third crew, our peak.
Without a
crew out.
doubt.
It would be a different scenario, but we're not
Exactly.
there yet because of staffing issues still. So it's industry wide. It's not just KB, it's not just Putnam.
oh no,
it's-
this was all
it's
talked
industry-wide
about
for
a
sure.
few years ago with the,
Yeah,
you know, the whole volunteer services and so forth,
Mhm.
trying to do staffing and everything.
right.
I mean, there is even a model that is gonna eventually be coming where the ambulance people treat the patient and, you know,
Right.
keep them home on, you know, for stuff. It's what they're doing out in the Midwest. And eventually it moves across, which puts more responsibility on our EMTs and EMRs and paramedics, and the whole healthcare system is undergoing such a radical change.
Mhm.
You know, it's tough to keep up with it.
Yeah.
So where were we?
Okay. Just any other selecting comments?
So
I
that's,
will say tomorrow is our town meeting, as I stated, 7 p.m., the high school auditorium. There will be an in-depth presentation on all three projects. I hope to have a robust discussion. There'll be question and answer time. People can share their views and opinions. So I hope it's well attended. That's my biggest hope, is that the auditorium is full. And then that we have a good turnout on January 31st, which is the referendum. And that's all I have at this point. All right. So moving on to citizen comments. At this time, the floor is open to citizen comments. Valerie Clark, we will start with the virtual audience.
Valerie Clark, 105 Elm Road, and I have several questions, and hopefully you'll be able to answer them. The town meeting, is that not hybrid?
No, it's not.
And
It will be streamed live, but it will not be a hybrid format. So you'll be able to view it live from home on YouTube.
but not participate,
No,
okay? And then the next question was the last selectmen's meeting was canceled, and I'm interested in what the reason was for canceling that meeting.
I was out of town.
Okay, so it was quorum or,
We didn't have anything of pertinent discussion. So it was canceled.
okay. And then the last thing is, I see on tonight's agenda that there are ordinances being proposed, and I'm interested in knowing more about that. I recognize we're not at that agenda item, but I feel like I'm a little blindsided by at least one of them. So I'd like more information in advance of the agenda.
There, at this time, I will be happy to clarify that for you. At this time, there are no ordinances drafted. We have discussed in the past about the aquatic lake ordinance. At this time, I'm just going to be polling the selectmen to see how they want to proceed. The vacant or abandoned properties is a request from John Gumpert in regard to the 929 mill. So, but we will be happy to discuss that more when we get to that agenda item.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other citizen comments, either live here or through the virtual audience?
Amy, Joey Martino.
Hi,
I just wanted to know if my section is coming later or should I comment here?
The Connecticut Humanities Grant is next on the agenda.
Okay. So I'll wait for that.
Okay. Any other citizen comments? All right. Hearing and seeing none, we will move on to agenda item 7, which is the Connecticut Humanities Grant Facility Lease for the Thompson Historical Society. And I will now call on Joe Iamartino to give us additional information about this. The selectmen have been provided with that grant opportunity, but you can expound more on this.
Thank you. Appreciate your time and your effort doing what you do. It's
Thank
much
you.
appreciated. For those not familiar with the history of the Old Town Hall and the Ellen Larned Museum, the old library, both of them ended up with the Historical Society through the town. We've previously had lease arrangements with the town to take care of those buildings. When those leases were drawn up, in the event that the Historical Society could not continue, they would revert back to the town. We're asking again for a similar arrangement in order to be able to facilitate some repairs and improvements to the Turtle Lot Memorial High School, especially the Riscavage Auditorium, which needs an audiovisual system to match the beautiful facility that it is. And also, we have not been able to replace the chairlift to make accessibility improvements. So we think the cost is going to be somewhere around $125,000. The town planner has found a grant opportunity, a rare one that looks like we could win it. We would have to have a minimum of a 10-year lease as a historical society to be able to apply as a 501c3. So that's the nickel and dime of the story. It makes sense to me. We have a track record of success working with leases like this. We just have a limited time frame for submission, so we don't have much time to get the lease in place. That's my story.
Thank you, Joe. And just to share additionally, this would ultimately have to go to the trustees. We believe, I spoke with Melinda about it, the superintendent of schools, and the board of trustees, Turtle Lot Trust would have to approve, as would the Board of Education. So any motion that we make to move forward with offering some type of a lease would be pending those other two approvals, unless either of you think otherwise. But both Melinda and I believed that those two entities would have to approve it as well.
Why, it would be good to have everybody on board. It'll benefit the,
And what we talk about is the lease on the museum. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe.
It would be that second floor, the second floor.
Okay.
Because the Riscavage Auditorium, if we're going to do the improvements to the stair lift, as well as the chairlift, as well as the audio visual in there, we would have to have that space included as well.
Okay.
Shared use is a given, so there's no issue with the town using it if it were leased. Yeah, I think that's well understood.
Right.
Mr. Rice has-
Oh, Mr. Rice.
Joe, I didn't think we were taking where Bill Birch is on the second floor. My understanding was there was Scavenge, the Kenny Museum, the Transportation Museum, and the Turtle Lot Museum.
It would be also a carve out of the room upstairs for storage as well, and we would leave Bill with his room.
Right, but you kind of indicated that the second floor, and that was not my understanding.
So identified rooms.
Yeah, identified rooms. It's just
That's not.
On the second floor.
the second and the third floor.
And the
That's
third
one
floor.
room. It's dead storage, there's no
Yeah,
activity, people can't occupy it, it's strictly for storage.
So we're looking at on the second floor, Riscavage Auditorium, Kenny Museum,
Yeah, transportation
Transportation,
and the Turtle Lot.
and
museum
Turtle Lot.
that's where all the paintings are and everything.
Plus
room,
a room on the third floor.
Yeah,
storage room on the third floor.
right.
So the deed to this property is owned by the town,
Mhm.
free and clear, no strings, no nothing. It just is, that's what I think That would be my only question. Obviously, I think it's a good idea.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we know that they've been wanting to do that chairlift. for
Yes.
Well, it was
years.
there and they're constantly trying to restore the
Oh,
building
gosh, yes.
to, to its, glory where it was.
Right,
And it's a great grant to do it. It's just, as long as everybody's on board,
right.
I think it's a win. Without a doubt.
It looks like it really looks like a promising grant.
Yeah.
I think Joe, I don't want to talk for you, but the intention is to make it more available to the community. I mean, there's some gems up there, especially with that post office, transportation room, and I think that'll bring in more visitors to the town that's doing things, Green Valley and et cetera, these stores, and the historical would like to open that facility more often than it does now. I think the last time we did it is when we had the town-wide, that annual.
Was it Community Day?
The community day.
Right?
Community
Yeah.
Day.
We opened that.
They opened it up
They usually open it up and bus
ago.
people up.
and they have the buses come
Yeah.
down and go up and then,
A couple of years.
yeah,
ago.
before COVID.
And I think that facility up there should be viewed.
It's part of our history.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So,
We just have to get all parties on board to make it
so
work.
to expedite this, I wonder if we could just do it, a meeting with all three boards and have approvals done all in one night. Is that faster, or do you already have it on the agenda for?
Well, I think it's on the agenda of tomorrow night's school board meeting.
School board meeting tomorrow night?
I think so.
I think they got a special meeting.
Yeah, they-
tomorrow night.
Oh, they do.
Or maybe it's just.
Tomorrow night?
Oh, budget meeting
I think
tomorrow.
it's-
They had one tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, it was tonight.
It was
Yeah.
tonight.
Tomorrow night's the town meeting,
Yeah.
Right.
so,
The-
I mean, my thought was we could just approve it.
Oh, we
pending
could
the
just,
approval, it's just done. if
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
what
even if
the
we
board
approve it and then
wishes.
you can't get into the building because the school manages it, because of security and everything,
Right,
then it becomes a problem.
right,
So that
and that's
everybody,
the only concern.
everybody's got to be on board, but I would have to think that there's a way of isolating the old high school with the doors that you ain't gonna get into the other part of the
Well, in
building.
some respects, it's
Well,
a
there-
formality.
There is, should be.
yeah.
I want to be clear, it's a formality because it's a requirement of the grant.
Oh, yes.
Well,
That's
it's
the only
also a
reason we're
legal
here.
document too.
Right,
That lease is that part of the.
and there could be some
school out too.
stipulations in the lease regarding use of the building.
Right,
I would say.
think there's a,
And I think that would be a
memorandum of
school board then.
understanding
Right.
Has to be drawn up by all parties that agree to, you can do this, you can't do that, that
Right.
type of thing.
But you do have to have some accessibility to the building where if you can't get into it, why would we give you a grant?
Yeah.
So it's got to be give and take with everybody to make this work.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
Pretty much what we go through, the historical does, is that we have to have a custodian. I mean, I can get into the inside, but anything outside of the rooms that we're talking about, you don't have access to anywhere else in that building.
Right,
And you just can't get there.
so what is the
You can't
time
get
frame?
there from here.
well, they have to put the letter of intent. I believe it was February 3rd was the letter of intent.
Joe asked it. Joe, you. can
So when
answer
does
that.
yeah, right here, letter of intent, February 3rd.
Right.
Right.
And then the
Full application
is
is
March.
March 3rd. So so this has to be approved by the February 3rd date?
That's our view.
Letter of interest, February 3rd, full application, March 3rd,
Right.
Right,
then notification if you get it.
So what I think we'd really need is to see what the lease, we need the lease. I mean, I'm on board with this. If we need to vote to not approve the lease, because I think we'd want to see it
see the
first.
lease.
So, but the project,
To move
we could approve
forward.
the project to move forward.
Pending
I mean,
the
there's definite,
lease, pending the review of the lease.
Right,
Yeah.
and that would give us a little bit of time.
yeah, they have to send in a letter of interest for the thing.
Right.
And in the meantime, between now and February 3rd, we have to,
Or even
because that's when the
March 3rd.
full application has
March
to be
3rd.
in, March
No.
3rd.
I
March
think
3rd.
Joe said that the intent was to have the lease in place by February 3rd possibly. Am I
In
correct?
a
Joe?
perfect world.
That was my request. That way we simplify it, we would deal with the humanities group.
So if we can just give our approval to move forward with the project.
Or move forward with the grant application pending the review of the lease.
Right,
And the
Right,
approval
right,
of the
right.
other.
Yeah, all parties have to be on board.
and the approval of the other two boards are, yeah,
When's our next meeting?
we meet.
I would hope that,
I don't have my phone, so I don't have my calendar.
We meet the first Tuesday is the 7th.
Oh,
Yeah.
the 7th, okay. I was hoping it was before the 3rd.
but we can always pick
We
it
could put it on.
on a
our-
budget
We
meeting.
could put it on one of the.
We
budget
could put
meetings.
it on a budget meeting. Yes, we
If we
could.
could move fast enough.
Special meeting, we just have to, anything, yeah.
And I'm,
Yeah.
let me look, maybe we can do, I'll look and see what the other dates
But-
were.
Let's get, the school on board, the trustees. I mean, I think Joe's still one of the trustees.
Yeah.
And, get it on board and
So.
becomes then,
Shall we wait? To make a motion?
I mean, the
Joe?
consensus is to go for this.
Yeah,
Well, we don't want to approve the lease, but I think we can approve the project and the moving forward with it, providing the other three boards, the other two. The trustees and the Board of Education approve it, and as long as we can get a look at the lease, then we could approve the lease after this.
okay, so do you want to make that motion?
I'll make that
So
motion
moving forward with the grant.
with the
application.
grant app, yeah, with the
Pending the review of the lease.
support rate
That sound good?
and pending the approval from the trustees and the Board of
Board of Ed.
Education.
So you make.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this topic? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of approving, moving forward with this Connecticut Humanities Grant pending the review of the lease document and the approval of the trustees and the Board of Education, say aye.
aye.
Aye, and that passes.
Thank you very, very much.
Now
I
we
was-
gotta get to work on a lease.
No,
now.
thank you
I'll
guys.
send you a draft of the lease.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks,
Thank
Joe.
you.
Thank you much. Appreciate it.
All right. Agenda item 8, Natchog Epic Bicycle Tour, Sunday, March 26, 2023. It's mapped out. It's an 83-mile course for this year's edition of the Epic. It runs through several towns in Connecticut, including Putnam, Killingly, Pomfret, Hampton, Eastford, and Woodstock. I believe it starts and ends in Thompson. And the only thing we're pending is an updated certificate of insurance, because they were missing one item on the certificate of insurance. So,
This is a reoccurring thing. with
Yeah,
that. They
I was
do
gonna say, we.
They do a great
yeah.
job.
several years here.
Yep.
It's always a great event, for sure. And I should make note of the dates.
What is it?
What was it,
March
320?
26th?
Yes, that sounds
Okay.
right.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the request for the bicycle tour for the Natchog Epic Bicycle Tour on March 26, 2023, pending the insurance documentation. Is that how you
Yeah.
think? Yeah.
I think so.
Second,
Okay, motion in a second. Any discussion on this event? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of approving the Natchog Epic Bicycle Tour for Sunday, March 26, 2023, pending the insurance verification, say aye.
aye.
Aye. Okay, that motion passes. The neglected cemetery grant. Very happy this came through because the funds that were previously secured by Carolyn Werge have run out. So when we received this the other day, we were pretty excited. So what I need from the board is, I think in the past we've received $5,000. They're hoping for that grant again. And they take time, this is for burial grounds or cemeteries containing more than 6 places of interment. A burial ground or cemetery which has been neglected and allowed to grow up in weeds, briars, or bushes, or about which fences have broken, decayed, or are dilapidated. It's really Norma O'Leary's project. She puts a lot of
Does a
time.
great
and
job.
effort.
He does, yep.
And it's near and dear to our heart for sure. I don't have a problem. I'd like to make a motion that, oh no, you guys have to make the motion because you're gonna authorize me to apply for the grant.
So that's what you're looking for is a motion.
I need a
so-
motion so that we can,
So I'll make a motion that we authorize the first selectman to apply for the neglected cemetery grant. That's all you need?
The account grant program, yeah. The 2023.
2023 neglected cemetery account grant programs. Program, yeah.
I'll second it.
motion in a second. All in favor of allowing me to apply for this grant, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Norma makes the most of it without a doubt.
she'll be very happy, so thank you.
Good.
But she came into my office today to make sure that we did a motion because they have to get it in. I think it's February 6th. So again, another really, really tight grant application time.
She's used to it.
Yeah. All right. So next, agenda item 10, proposed addition of 13 streetlights to light sidewalks on Riverside Drive, and I will give kudos to Ken. Because after the sidewalk projects were done, he noticed that the lighting was very poor along large stretches of the sidewalk project. To which the MISRAC committee walked the entire length and sort of found in every other pole pattern where there were missing streetlights. I did get in touch with CLMP. I was able to get a work order in place so that, because I needed the work order in order to get the quote. It will be approximately $8 per light.
Per month,
Per
Per
light.
month,
which is,
yeah.
after spending this million and something to do the sidewalks, it's,
And they did suggest a 4-foot post so that it would actually light the walkway and not necessarily the street. Because they have the longer posts that light the
Sure.
streets.
but the light will carry into
Yeah.
the street to a point.
There were 2 poles that were an issue because one wasn't going to have the service to connect to. I think it was, I don't have it on this document, I have it in my office. I think it was 3273 and 3253, which were issues. So the contractor from Eversource asked us to look and see if there was one either north or south of that pole that would be adequate. And that would, because otherwise, one, we can't do at all.
Which one's that?
3253, we can't
The
do
front of
at
the-
all
the
because
Dunkin'
there's a
Donuts?
transformer on it. I think it was.
Really?
And 3273, they would have to rewire it. In order to connect a light to it, which would cost extra money. So he suggested either a pole north or south of either of those, so that it would keep us, without having to pay extra. So. Yeah. So
Well,
I'm looking for, Forgive me.
I'll make a motion to add the lights.
okay,
It's a no-brainer because of the money that we spent. We want walkability. This will enhance it and keep the public safe. So to add,
So
What was
let
it,
me
13
second that
lights?
motion and then we can discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll second that motion.
okay, so
Now go ahead,
Okay.
sorry.
you may want to kick it back to
Ms. Rack,
MISRAC,
Mhm.
just to go back out, take a look, and we may have to adjust a couple here and there,
right,
but to put in the 13,
and that did not include, will be a removal of one that was requested,
they'll probably relocate. I think that's part of relocating.
relocating one.
Yeah, because you had a couple, if I remember correctly, there was probably a couple poles next to each other that had lights going the every other one.
Yeah,
We relocate the light and not to have the cost of, adding one.
Right.
But this will
what are
work
your
out great.
thoughts, Suzanne?
Just clarify this because I'm not familiar with streetlights. The cost to the town to have them installed is none. That
Because
falls
we don't
upon
own the lights, we don't
Right.
own any of our lights,
and maintaining them.
that's
They-
Eversource.
That's
Eversource does.
Eversource as well. The cost to us is $8 a month per.
Roughly, and
Roughly.
that's sort of an average
So
based on,
roughly
you pay
100.
more in the winter, you pay
Okay.
less
Cause it's,
in the
okay.
summer.
So roughly $100 a month,
Mhm.
$1,200 a year is the cost to the town to light that area.
13 of them approximately.
I'm just
Yep,
off the top of my head without a calculator.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the
I had
right,
to do the math in my head.
and this
so-
is the right time to do it because we can figure that into the budget.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got the motion, I've got the second, I'm good
Yeah.
with moving
Yeah.
It
forward.
only made sense.
It makes the walkability. It's something that we need to do.
For safety, when people.
Safety, we
Absolutely,
want people
have
to
set
walk.
rules. We want to encourage people to
Yeah.
walk. They're not gonna walk it, or it's safety if they're not.
It's safety.
There's-
And we'll have to relook at, if we're fortunate enough to get Main Street done
Mhm.
and redo those sidewalks, we'll be looking at the same thing again.
Right.
Or the Board of
Making sure
Selectmen
that
will
it-
at that time
Right,
to make that safety as well to.
Yeah.
Put those in.
all
Okay.
right, so we have a motion and a second. No further discussion? All in favor of approving the addition of 13 streetlights to light the sidewalks of Riverside Drive, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes.
This will
All right.
work out well.
So the next agenda item 11, I'm really looking for the selectmen for your input on how would you want to move forward with these ordinances? Let me give some background. The first one, as you know, Aquatic Lake has been an issue. We were meeting with a small ad hoc committee to discuss, and working with Deep to discuss what can and can't be in the ordinance. This is what we came up with so that you know what potentially would be in this ordinance. The following would be intended to be, the ordinance would be in place between Friday and Sundays
Mhm.
and holidays. One of the first things is that motorcraft or motorboats and PWC personal watercraft would follow a clockwise pattern on the weekends. So there would always be a clockwise pattern. 45-mile-per-hour speed limits. There would be 2 no wake zones. One was between Shore and Campaign Island, and the second one between Shore and Gould Island.
Mhm.
And that would be for all watercraft on the weekends, no wake zones. Additionally, because to accommodate fishing tournaments, on the weekends, Saturday and Sundays, when there's a fishing tournament, that 45-mile-per-hour speed limit is not in place until after 9 a.m. Because the fishing tournaments generally start early and they speed off to get to their and that was
Why would
all-
you just start it at 9 a.m.
Well,
for
we
every
could.
weekend? Because really, there's nobody out on the lake at 8 a.m. on the weekends.
No. Well, that's something that we can certainly,
Yeah. Just,
Okay.
just,
So this is all about,
this is all just how are we going to have this drafted?
this is all has to do with the safety on the lake that we've been
Yes.
discussing.
And this is all that we exhausted all the different options between checking for boat licenses and boat ownership, all those things that Deep will not allow us to do. Everything that
Till we
seemed
get the
logical.
ordinance in place.
They won't allow
No,
us
they
to do
won't allow us
regardless.
to do extra things. Limiting the number of boats that come in.
closing hours.
There
they
is,
won't-
there is a limit, but there is nothing specific that we can put in the ordinance, and they will not close the boat launch. It has to remain open 24/7. And that was a non-negotiable. So there were a lot of things that we wanted in the ordinance. This is what we ended up with. And this is what, because initially the ordinance has to be created and then it needs to be sent to Deep for approval. Once it's to Deep and they approve it as written, then it would go to town meeting for approval. But I'm just curious, the ordinance review committee, I always think of them as reviewing ordinances, but would we also want to have them construct an ordinance? Or would it be better to just send it to the attorney? And
If,
how do you feel about this ordinance? That's the other thing.
I just wish the state would do its job.
I know.
So
That'd
here's,
be the easiest thing right there.
so I don't like restricting people that live on the lake, and I being one of them. And putting something like this in place that could restrict us from being able to use our front yard, so to speak. But on the other hand, and I don't like the fact that we are gonna go to this effort and spend attorney fees, and
Mhm.
how is it getting enforced? We have no control over
It's still,
enforcement.
it would be enforced by
However,
Deep.
however, that being said, we can't just sit back and do nothing, because we've had multiple complaints. We had a room full here this summer of people complaining about it. So at least we're doing something.
Right.
Since our town council represents, if I remember correctly, about 50 towns.
Mm.
Maybe they have something that in one of those towns where somebody already adopted an ordinance
Okay,
that we can ask them and reflect to.
right.
which would help us in whatever creation.
Okay.
Does DEP have any ordinances that they have approved? Because I'm sure they got them on file,
Right.
which would help cut down. Give us some ideas where to go with this.
Okay. I can check with,
CCM as well may be able to give us something,
mhm.
through their legal department.
So would that be the route that you
I'd like to see.
prefer go? See, rather than tasking the ordinance review committee, because I.
Well, I
always
think as much information that
Yes.
we can
I think
give,
this is outside of the ordinance review committee.
Right.
as much information that we can give to work with makes everybody's job a lot easier in crafting, something.
Okay. The second ordinance, I'll give you the background on. John Gumpert, of course, is the developer for the 929 Mill project. He's actually doing the Stephen Lennon Mill currently. He's done a mill in Vernon. I believe he just bought Belding Mill or entered into negotiations for Belding Mill, but I'm not
In
positive.
Putnam.
In Putnam. Yeah, not 630.
Well, there's nothing
Not
renovated,
630.
there's nothing
There's nothing
renovated at
renovated there.
630 at the tower.
But here's the biggest thing. He's been looking for some type of abatement program. What I sent to you both is the Vernon abatement agreement.
I'm confused now because on this, it says vacant and or abandoned properties.
Correct.
And that is a separate ordinance in itself.
Correct. It has to be an ordinance in order to do the agreement. But I was gonna give the background on the agreement.
Okay,
Because the agreement is the interesting part. Because the agreement sets a timetable for completion of the project. We're always wondering, when is the project going to be completed? That was the good thing about this agreement. It sets that certificate of occupancy on or before the 2025 for this. It discusses this is how it would be calculated based on the base value today. For 9 years, the first 9 years, the taxes would be on that base value plus 0%. And that'll be a good portion of the construction phases. We know that. And then years 10 through 15, it would be the base amount plus 25% increase. And that base amount stays the base amount all this time. And then years 16 through 20 would be the base amount plus 50%, and then 21 through 25 would be the base amount plus 75%. And then in year 26, it has full value. Here's the biggest thing. He's going to be spending hundreds of millions of dollars. We make nothing on that property right now. So we know we want to assist in any way possible to make sure that that mill gets developed. We know it's what the people wanted. There was the outcry years ago about not seeing it demolished.
we were gonna have to come across this at some point.
Yeah.
Just for improvements to the building, tax abatement
Mm-hmm.
during the construction phase and everything. So,
And we had initially done the mill rehabilitation district back in 2020,
yes,
which only gives 18 years and isn't quite as generous
Yeah.
as this agreement would be.
yeah.
But in order to do that, we need an ordinance.
Right, and correct, and the Vernon Mill, I think I know which one that he did. It's nowhere in comparison to the size of this one.
No.
When you're talking 750,000 square feet, still where the candy shop is,
Mhm.
it's gonna take years to get this done.
And his lenders are looking for the longer term. The one that
Sure.
we had instituted was 18 years, but it wasn't it was 10% every year. It wasn't as desirable as this reduced assessment would be. But as it stands, we get nothing.
Now, we get nothing right now.
So John had provided me the ordinance from Vernon. Parts of that ordinance state blight. I just want to be clear, this isn't about blight. This is about abandoned buildings. I mean, which is blight, but
And I did read it, because my only concern. And because the town has to approve the ordinance, we know what the intent is,
Mhm.
but it comes into any and all abandoned vacant buildings. And I mean, we could have buildings throughout town, or even some farms that have old sheds and things of that nature that, you know, as a farm goes, it, you know, falls in on itself and they regroup and they build new buildings and stuff. So I just don't want to go too far reaching where we end up hurting people that we don't
Agreed,
intend to regulate.
agreed.
Because I agree, because even though we intend on writing this for that building, it also
It
will
applies
be
to
apply,
everything.
it'll apply, and
Yeah.
if somebody wants to take it out of context or take it
And it can't.
and we don't, I don't
And-
want to see that.
And my
happen either.
initial, when I spoke to Slater about it, Attorney Slater, my initial question was, can we just write it for 929?
And you can't.
No, that wasn't really an option, but that would be the goal for it to apply to that.
Yeah.
Um,
So, you know, so we're looking at how much discretion that we have due to circumstances,
mhm, right,
you know, I mean, I know that, you know, there are, I'm sure, some buildings in town that have fallen in on themselves that are actually a hazard,
right,
you know, and should be, you know, dealt with accordingly. And I'm sure, you know, an old shed on a farm land that's 50 acres doesn't impact anybody,
mhm,
you know, so you've got to have some discretion and, you know, applying it appropriately.
right. No, I agree. Because we know that the town isn't very, they don't embrace the blight.
Well, no, back in 15,
And I want to make sure that people, I don't want to do this because I know people don't want that, but I do want to help this developer out. I'd love to see the mill finished.
we all want to see the mill finished.
Yep.
And get to the usefulness, which then incorporates 630, you know, Quinn Shirt Shop, the other stuff that we have. But
Could
everything
we-
does hinge on the development of that mill.
Could we keep it still? I wonder if we could keep the ordinance directed towards the mill redevelopment district.
That would be a
Oh,
question.
That's
So
interesting.
rather than having it
Restrict the
throughout
area.
Thompson, restrict it to this
And
part of
that's,
zoning.
that'd be a legal question that would
Right.
have to be asked. If we
That's a
could-
really good
If we could do that, or any of the industrial mill because we have,
Oh, true.
you know,
You got
1405,
Wilson Mill. Yeah,
1405.
yeah,
And, you know, they do have plans to renovate the old stone structure. You know, as well, because they took the roof and tried to make that safe in the
so
meantime.
can we make it just mill structures
Well, in the
within that
the
zone?
mill zone, and that's a good
I
question.
don't know
to
if
ask.
Wilsonville is in. the
I don't know,
mill
you'd have
redevelopment
to look
zone.
at it.
Okay, well, those are questions then.
Can it be restricted to the type of building,
Right, that's what I'm wondering.
not
So-
just the
and
area?
get it
but
done
the
so we
type
can
of building.
accomplish what
So
we
it's
need.
very,
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
You know, there's so many steps in getting this mill done. And it's a baby
It
step. We
would
get
be
something done and then
nice.
you keep moving and
yeah,
very
and,
slow process.
and right now, the holdup is that brownfield remediation grant, because the papers still haven't been signed.
Yeah, as soon as that does, and
Then he can actually start the cleanup. He hasn't been able to start
Right.
until he receives that. So,
And
which
once
will
that-
only assist. It's not even going to cover all the costs.
no, but it
It's
shows
just
activity and that something is
Mhm.
Yeah.
going on.
Be positive.
People want to see, yes, we are moving forward,
Yeah, agreed.
but there's so many steps. And it can be depressing that it doesn't move as
Oh, yeah.
quickly as we'd like, but as long as it keeps moving forward.
And that's what I think I got most excited about when I read the draft agreement, was that there was a date. Oh, my gosh, that'll be fantastic when we actually have a projection, a date. So in agreement not to refer this to the ordinance review committee.
Not at this
I'll do a little bit more research. Gather as much facts as I can and, yeah, and I'll keep you guys updated. That works?
That works.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, cool. All right. Agenda item 12, request from the Board of Finance, $22,350 for renewal of the mandatory DEEP stewardship permit. This has to do with the old landfill on Passay Road. It's a permit that renews every 10 years.
10
During
years are up.
10 years or more than up, because it renewed in September. It was supposed to renew September of 2020 during COVID. And there was no notices sent
Due to circumstances.
due to circumstances. So.
So the state isn't holding, they know the circumstances.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a meeting with the state, just to discuss some of the items that were proposed. Lakeshore Environmental did the previous permit for us. Their proposal for the project is $22,350 for all of the work that goes into it. It's very similar to MS4.
So they have all the history.
They have all the history. I did have Wayne Bugden look it over because I almost fell off my chair because I thought, oh, it's just a permit. This won't be that difficult. And then I saw 22,000 and I literally started like calling everybody and saying, what is this? But Wayne assured me one of the item 9, the groundwater analysis for PFAS, that's a new requirement. So that's $6,450. That wouldn't have been a fee in the past.
I mean, we already do groundwater analysis up at
Right.
the landfill
But not for
and,
PFAS.
no, but I'm saying we already
Yeah.
do it up at the landfill and we do it over at the town garage.
It's a chemical, I had to look it up. It's a chemical that's used to manufacture lots of different items in the world. And
Okay.
because it was probably part of what was buried.
Yep,
It
yep,
What was-
seeps into
that
groundwater.
time frame
If,
of that,
if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken, it was everything that came out of, the mill here.
Oh, so.
That went up there.
Yeah. So, but it is a requirement now for the stewardship permit. So what I'm asking the board to consider is, can we send this to the Board of Finance on Thursday? To ask potentially, we can't tell them where to take it out of, but we do have contingency.
That's what I was gonna ask you. What do we?
I mean, we
We
don't,
have
Have we touched
everything in
that? We haven't
contingent,
touched that.
not for this year. So
We
this
don't-
is a contingency.
And
item.
so, and
When-
we need for them to approve it.
We need for them.
Yeah.
to approve
when
it.
does the application have to be in?
I gotta get started on it ASAP. The sooner the better.
Sounds like it was due.
No,
back
I
in
didn't know if they were gonna
2020.
give us till
It's a
the
little
end of the
longer.
year or
I'm
something.
meeting with via Teams, Ronnie Tangway, she's brand new. So let's put it this way, that department cleaned out after COVID. People retired, people moved to different positions. Ronnie is brand new. She's the one that picked up on the fact that it had not been renewed.
Okay, okay.
So I have a meeting with her. I'm hoping to cut some of these line items off. But we do need to move forward with this as quickly as possible.
Oh, I
But
agree.
will they give us time? I think they'll give
Well,
us
that's why I was wondering when the
a few
fee,
months.
yeah, whatever the cost is, or, we may be, depending on their time frame to get it done. Yes, we may need so much money from the Board of Finance. We may be able to put the rest into the budget and get it passed. That's the only thing, but I would definitely, I'll make a motion because we have no choice.
Right,
Because of that we request from the Board of Finance the $22,350 for the renewal of the mandatory deep stewardship permit. You can,
I'll second that motion.
okay, give the Board of Finance, you
I'll
can,
get the time. Oh, I don't know if I'll have the time frame by then.
well, no, you won't, but there is possibility not all the costs may come up immediately.
Right.
We may be able to spread it out. But we won't know that.
so
until-
up to 22,350, yeah.
Okay, and I made that second. Any other discussion on this topic? Okay, all in favor of requesting from the Board of Finance up to $22,350 for the renewal of the mandatory DEEP stewardship permit, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion passes. Any other business to bring before the board tonight? No? No?
No.
Okay. Agenda item 14, citizen comments. The floor is open for citizen comments. Okay, Brian Santos, you have your hand raised.
I just wanted to share my support for the Lake Association to get engaged with the ordinance. Just make sure you reach out to them on any discussions about ordinances. It's not only safety concerns out on that lake, but as you all know, there's been deaths on that lake. So I support what Suzanne stated earlier. Something needs to be done. And I just want to make sure that the Lake Association is engaged in those conversations. I also know that Candlewood Lake actually came out with an ordinance about 6 years ago, I think. So maybe that could be a starting point for us as well.
Brian, where is Candlewood Lake?
It's up in the, it's in the Danbury area. It's
Oh,
just,
okay.
It's the largest lake in Connecticut. It is South Connecticut.
Yeah. it's
Yep.
north of Danbury.
Yep.
Can't remember the town, but it's up near the
Yeah,
federal.
sure. I think
everything.
Brookfield, it's my hometown.
Brookfield, okay, there we go. I
Thanks for-
forgot about Brookfield.
Thanks, Joe.
Brookfield, New Milford, it's all, yeah.
Yep, Milford area. Yep.
All right, thank you, Brian. Valerie Clark.
Valerie Clark, 105 Elm Road. I want to just thank Ken for his points about both ordinances. And the first point in particular regarding the Lake Association is his suggestion that we do some homework before we go to the attorneys and expend attorney fees on ordinances. And then the second observation about the vacant land ordinance, that is a slippery slope. And so I appreciate the voice of reason. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Any other citizen comments at this time? All right.
Also, you got John.
Oh, John, I'm sorry.
You didn't say answer anyway.
Okay. John Rice.
I just want to support what you're doing with the mill. And that I'm glad to see we're moving forward. And that a few weeks ago, you're watching TV and this large mill that burnt to the ground. And the first thing that came to my mind is this mill here being 90% unoccupied.
Yeah.
Is that so? And it's in an all we can do, and we're talking peanuts for the amount of money that we're not collecting the value of.
It's better than having vacant space.
Yeah, and the good news, I mean, the good thing is we have a fire marshal that's extremely active and he's been very active at that mill, making sure that they're meeting code and standard to prevent the unthinkable. So, which we certainly don't want to happen.
That was my comment.
Okay,
Just move forward.
okay, Mr. St. Ange, you need to state your name and address.
Jason St. Ange, 139 Riverside Drive. Once ordinance is drafted with DEP, Quebec Lake Association, Board of Selectmen, are they gonna have a posted sign at the boat launch what those new ordinances are for out of towners that are coming in? Something like that?
Well, there is a sign there.
I'm sure that we can post
Yeah.
up, but we still got to get it through town meeting.
Right.
Right,
And you still have to make people read the signs.
Yeah.
right. Well, they don't know that it's not posted, so.
I think there is a board.
There's a
by the-
bulletin board,
by the boat launch.
that things like that are usually posted
Yeah.
if the state chooses to.
Yeah.
Cause it's not our property.
All right, any other citizen comments? I don't want to leave anybody out. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 15, tax refunds. I make a motion that we refund the following taxpayers. Toyota Lease Trust, $635.01, $335.32, $481.13, $40.26, $598.35. And Lambros Begueres. Did I say that right with a little accent? $1,158.55 for a total of $3,248.62 in tax refunds. Make that motion.
Second,
Okay, all in favor or any discussion? All in favor of approving these tax refunds as presented, say aye.
Aye,
aye.
Aye.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. It is 8:07 PM. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.